Hello humans, demons, and whoever you are, Livia's here. What can I say about SpongeBob that hasn't been said already? Created by Steven Hillenburg and premiered in 1999, he's not just one of the most recognizable pop culture icons in the past century, but one of the most popular cartoon series of all time, right alongside the Looney Tunes and The Simpsons. And just a little bit of personal bias for me right here, one of my favorite media franchises of all time. I can go on and on about some of the best episodes ever from the golden age, like Pizza Delivery, Rock Bottom, Sailor Mouse, Bangeeks, The Algae's Always Greener, Chocolate with Nuts, Fear of a Krabby Patty, Skill Crane, Bye Buddies, Sing a Song of Patrick, I'm with Stupid. Okay, maybe not I'm with Stupid. Point is, whether that be the timeless jokes or the countless memes, SpongeBob has impacted our generation. However, it's not the show I want to talk about. Instead, I want to talk about the other media SpongeBob is in, including video games. I think SpongeBob video games are interesting to talk about due to the amount of them and their various quality. Like Lights, Camera, Pants, SpongeBob's version of Mario Party, Creature from the Krusty Krab, the SpongeBob game about dreams, SpongeBob Scribble Pants, that WarioWare clone made by Way Forward. Remember them for later, they will be important. And of course, the holy grail of not just SpongeBob games but licensed games as a whole, SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom. A game so good it got an HD remake like Crash and Spyro, and they made a sequel to that game called The Cosmic Shake. But before we can talk about that, a brief history first. Since the release of Legend of the Lost Spatula, there was an annual tradition of SpongeBob games coming out from 2001 to 2011, all of them being published by THQ. And if you're around back in the early 2000s, you've heard of THQ, either through their licensed games or their AA games like Destroy All Humans. But when they got bankrupt in the early 2010s, Nick licensed SpongeBob games to Activision, creating two of the worst SpongeBob games of all time. So when Activision lost the license, Nickelodeon announced that they would be having a new partnership with a brand new publisher in 2018, called THQ Nordic. Now you may be wondering, how did THQ come back from the dead? Nordic Games have been purchasing THQ IPs and just so happened to have the THQ trademark, but they rebranded themselves to THQ Nordic. Anyways, they say they will be bringing back old titles, starting with Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated by Purple Lamp Studios in 2020. And unless you are IGN or GameSpot, the game was received positively. In September 17th, 2021, THQ unveiled the next SpongeBob game coming out called The Cosmic Shake, a brand new 3D platformer and the spiritual sequel to Battle for Bikini Bottom. Like Rehydrated, the hype train continued for this game until January 31st, 2023, with critical acclaim from both SpongeBob fans and fans of 3D platformers. And I'm going to explain why I and many other people love this game. The story for The Cosmic Shake is that SpongeBob and Patrick went to Glove World and bought magic bubble soap that can grant wishes from a shady mermaid. But due to SpongeBob and Patrick wishing for too much, it instead torn apart the fabric of the universe. So now, guided by our foreshadowed third act twist villain, her name is Madame Cassandra by the way, it is up to SpongeBob alone, mainly because Patrick is a balloon, to restore Bikini Bottom and save his friends, his house, Patrick's house, and the Krusty Krab by traveling to these new alternate universes packed full of references to the SpongeBob franchise. In fact, let's get this out of the way, there are references everywhere, including but not limited to Roller Cowards, Hess of the West, My Pretty Seahorse, No Free Rides, Karate Island, Club SpongeBob, Best Frenemies, Dying for Pie, Shanghai, Frankendoodle, Chocolate with Nuts, I Was a Teenage Gary, Graveyard Shift, Ugh, SB129, Dungeons and Dragons, and so much more! And don't even get me started on the costumes, as there are also references to iconic episodes as well. From Krabby Land, Bossy Boots, Sponge Guard on Duty, Midlife Crustacean that one episode Paramount doesn't want to acknowledge, even episodes that no one talks about like Toy Story of Doom gets a reference through a costume. Hell, even the gross out close-ups are here.
I will make myself extra picturesque.
Which in hindsight was a bad idea, but still! There are so many fucking references everywhere. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm missing some. But back on topic, the music for this game is also great fan service, as the original composers for Battle for Bikini Bottom returned to make some new tracks. They even used the show's music as an additional bonus. If you're interested, here's a sample of the music. for the voice acting. All the original VAs reprise their roles, and they do a fantastic job. They even brought back Clancy Brown to voice Mr. Krabs again. I want to bring him up in particular because back in the day, you would be lucky to get one line from him.
For heaven's sake, boys, cover your ears!
And the graphics for this game looks great. All the character models look good and true to the characters, and the reimagined landmarks of Bikini Bottom are absolutely stunning and creative. My favorite is Halloween Rock Bottom, which is oddly enough October at the time of this recording. Since I got the presentation and fan service out of my systems, we can now talk about the gameplay. Unlike in Battle where you can play as SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy, the only playable character is SpongeBob with Patrick being a companion. But as a trade-off, SpongeBob is at his most versatile here. We got a glider that's the Krusty Krab pizza, there's a karate kick that acts as a homing attack, you can swing off a hook, a cartwheel move that's either used for dodging enemies or traversal, a bubble that can be used for hitting switches far away, creating platforms and trapping enemies, and a bubble surfboard that can let you fly around for a limited time, called a Super Velocitus Momentum Enhancer. Plankton's words, not mine.
Here, use this Super Velocitus Momentum Enhancer that I invented to get the job done.
Ooh, is that a bubble surfboard?
Yes, but I gave it a fancy name, so I get the credit.
Speaking of enemies, the enemies in this game are actually original. Instead of fighting Plankton's robots for the millionth time, we get to fight these jelly creatures that are varied in looks and archetypes, while others resemble enemies from Battle for Bikini Bottom. And some of them are even improvements and fun to fight. I'm looking at you, Sleepy Time. Also, tip for dealing with the big jellies, the big strong guys with the bathtub as a weapon, you could either take them out normally, or if there's multiple enemies, you can try to kick them. Trust me, they'll go down in seconds if you try this method. If you're not exploring the worlds or fighting the enemies, there are mini games within each world, where you're riding a unicycle, putting the Dutchman's socks on a ship, participating in a snail race, or flipping Krabby Patties. That last one makes you feel like SpongeBob. The bosses, while not the best, are fun and innovative. The boss against Sandy is a great introduction for what's to come, with you having to lure Sandy into these TNT barrels before you can kick her in the face. Giant Gary is a boss fight mixed with a stealth mission where you have to destroy these vending machines, while also avoiding the spotlight. Cave Pearl or Pom Pom requires you to destroy a platform she's standing on and having to fight an enemy wave, and the penultimate boss, Glovey Glove, requires you to shoot him with a reef blower. And oh, the reef blowers in this game is fucking awesome. Underutilized, but awesome. However, the boss I'm disappointed in is the final boss. It felt very anticlimactic and uneventful, where you just have to avoid corrupted Squidward's shockwave and hit Madame Cassandra with a reef blower, and that's kind of about it. Also, if I had a nickel for every time there's a video game starring SpongeBob where the multiverse is fucked in the year 2023,
I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right?
the Cosmic Shake is a love letter to the 2 decades of the SpongeBob franchise, and a great follow-up to Battle for Bikini Bottom. If you couldn't tell already, I highly recommend this game for SpongeBob fans and 3D platformer junkies from the 2000s. I'm hoping someday we get a DLC expansion for this game, but I do not know how likely it is, as Purple Lamp just released a remake of Epic Mickey, which now that I think about it, I should take a look at in the near future. Anyways, with all that being said, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And remember, if you want to succeed in life, you gotta make a deal with hell.
That's it?